It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y Show. I'm your host, Roosevelt, and I'm glad that you are able to come back and join me for another segment of the X and Y Show. We have a good subject tonight. I think you all enjoy something that you all had experience with or known someone to have gone through this. Just something I just wanted to talk about. So, without further ado, let's jump into tonight's episode. Is it okay for the woman to propose? I'll ask again. Is it okay for the woman to propose? Now, if you're asking me, I would say hell no. No, that is not a woman's role. A woman's role is to be asked, not to ask. And that's I just hate when I see women that even consider that. It's just how bad society has become. How weak society has become. The number of good men is so limited that women are willing to go along with that bullshit that they should actually propose to a man. That's not a woman's role. That's a man's role. So I say hell no. Men need to start being men and ask the female for their hand in marriage. That's the woman you love. That's the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. That's the woman you digging. Then ask her to marry you. Don't wait for her to ask you. If you wait till she asks you, you're a little bitch. Yeah, I said it. You're a little bitch. That's the problem with today's society. Man, there's a lot of men that are little bitches. And they just forgot the true meaning or the true essence, what it is to be a man. The role of a man. You ask your woman to marry you. You claim her. She don't claim you. I just don't get it. I just can't even conceive having a woman ask. To be honest, if I'm in a relationship and a woman was to ask me to marry her, I would be so embarrassed. I would be almost, I would just be so embarrassed, like, damn, she had to ask me. I would really feel like a bitch. I would be a bitch because I allowed my woman to ask me in marriage. I didn't have the balls, to be a man and ask my woman, my lady, the one I love, for her hand in marriage. She had to ask me. That would be so embarrassing. And that's something that, that's something you could never live down, really. Every time something comes up, the subject of marriage, you will be remembered how much of a bitch you were. It can be anything. It could be The Bachelorette or The Bachelor show. You know those shows, the reality show where some stupid dude or stupid woman. It's like one woman is the bachelorette, and then when it's a man, it's the bachelor. And she has like 40 men, and vice versa. He has like 40 women. And they do shit, basically competing for the bachelor or the bachelorette love for, I think it's 8 weeks. I don't watch that shit. That's the dumbest damn show. I hate that damn show. Because it's like, after 8 weeks, you fall in love. Oh, I love him. Oh, I can't believe how much a person to fall in love. Bitch, you ain't in love. You ain't in love, dude. It's all a show. And that show really is an example of how weak our society has become when it comes to relationships. It's all about the act. It's all getting married is all about the act, all about the ceremony. What kind of dress I'm gonna wear, what kind of dresses my bridesmaids are gonna wear, and what is the guy gonna wear, what is his parents gonna wear, and what is the flower girl, and all that bullshit. Because that's what it is, a lot of bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong. I like a good ceremony myself. Nothing wrong with a good ceremony. Nothing wrong with it. Especially when you have an open bar. But my thing is, don't let that be the only thing. Don't forget the true purpose of the marriage, of you getting married. Fuck the ceremony. That's just a show. That's just a show for your guests. That's just a show for your family, it's just a show. The real meaning of marriage is the purpose of it. Why are you getting married? You love him. He loves you. You want to start a family together. You want to live monogamously for the rest of your lives together. You want to grow old together. You want to die together. You want to love together. That's what it's about. It's about the actual meaning of marriage, not the ceremony. And I think that's what gets lost in today's society. It's all about the ceremony, all about the show. My marriage was better than yours. My marriage is bigger than yours. I had more ice sculptures. I had a bigger cake. I had more bridesmaids. Oh, that's bullshit. Because most of you divorced within a year. Because you was all about the show. But anyway, let me get back. So, that show, the Bachelorette or the Bachelor, it just, like I said, it makes an example of how weak our society has become. When it comes to relationships. It's all about the show. When the meaning, I think you have to learn that as a child. When you're a little girl or you're a little boy, that has to be taught to you. How to be a man, how to be a woman. And to be quite frankly, if you find out that your mom asked your father to marry her, then that sends a bad message. It should. If you have a daughter, that teaches her the wrong message. It teaches her that it's okay for to ask a man for his hand in marriage when it's not. It's not okay. I know a lot of you are saying out there, yeah, yes it is. What's the difference? Why? What's the big deal? And that's the problem, because a lot of you silly asses out there don't know what the big deal is. Deal is, that's not a woman's role. That's not a woman's role. Woman's role is to be asked. Is to be asked for her hand. Not to ask some motherfucker for his hand. So if you have a little daughter, it teaches her the wrong message. Oh, well, it's okay. Mommy asked daddy, so it's okay for me to ask someone when I grow up. If you have a little son, it teaches him the wrong message. It teaches him that it's actually okay to be a little bitch. Because that's what he is. If he grows up to think that it's okay for a woman to ask for his hand in marriage, he's a little bitch. And that's another problem of today. There's too many men that act like little bitches. Not being the men in relationships or marriages. Not being the man, not wearing the pants. Not being the actual alphas of the family. A lot of families, the moms and the wives run shit. Even the kids know, Daddy, I don't care what you say. I'm going to Mom. What kind of shit is that? Even the kids know. Mom running shit. Because too many men out there, well, what did your mom say? Go ask your mother. Stop being a little bitch. That's the problem with today's society, today's relationships and marriages. Let me tell you something. In my family, when my daddy said no, that was no. That was it. That was the end of it. I didn't go to Mom and say, trying to get an override or some shit. No. That was it. And if I did try to some dumb shit like that, I was going to get an ass whooping. So I knew better. Because my dad was not a bitch. He was a man. He was a real man. And that's what's missing in today's family. There's too many men that are acting like little bitches. Even when it comes to asking for a woman's hand in marriage. And frankly, in my opinion, if you're a man and you allow a woman to actually propose to you, you ain't nothing but a little pussy. You ain't nothing but a little pussy. That's all you are. I know some guys out there, he called me a pussy. Yeah, you a pussy. If you allowed your lady or your woman, your female, your wifey, whatever you call her, if you allowed her to actually propose to you, you are a pussy. Yes, you are. You're nothing but a pussy. And what trips me out, some men are actually proud of that shit. I've known guys in the past, pretty boys and shit, have actually bragged about their woman or their wife asking them, my wife proposed to me. I didn't propose to her. So, well, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, look at this little bitch. Bragging that his wife proposed to him. He didn't propose to her. She proposed to him. He bragging. He think that's macho. He think that's cool. I didn't ask my wife. She asked me. Huh? What are we coming to? What have we came to? Not coming. What have we came to? Because it seems to me that this is becoming more acceptable in today's society for women to actually ask men for their hand in marriage. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, damn, is it that scarce? Is it that hard to find a good man? I mean, is it that rare to find a good mate? That when you actually think someone that you dig it and you love, that you have to ask them for their hand in marriage? Is that bad? Really? I don't think it's that bad. I don't know, because I'm not going after men. But I just don't think it's that bad. I don't know. Maybe you women could email me and say, no, Roosevelt, you're wrong. It's that bad. So if I find a guy who's, is what I want, and if I have to ask him to marry him, then I'm okay with it. And to be quite honest, you women out there who actually go for that bullshit, your ass silly too. You shouldn't be going for that. Because quite frankly, ladies, if you have to ask your man for his hand in marriage, then that's a problem. You're already starting off on the wrong foot. That's a problem. If you have to ask your man to marry you, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And it's going to be a problem that's going to come and haunt you guys later on. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, I asked my husband, and we've been married 30 years. Well, good for you. It's always exceptions to the rule. But I think for the most part, that when a woman have to actually ask a man to marry her or ask him for his hand in marriage, and I think you two are starting off on the wrong foot already from the get-go. You're starting off on the wrong foot. Look, to ask someone to marry them, that is not the role of a woman. I don't care what society says. I don't care what's going on in society. I don't care what any of the top sex therapist says. I don't care what nobody says. That is not the role of a woman. That is a role of a man. A real man. Men, stop being bitches. If you love a woman, if you love your woman, your lady, then be a man. And ask her for her hand. Ask her to marry you. Now, first, if her father's living, you go talk to him. Say, Mr. Such and Such, I know you guys, you see that I'm old-fashioned. And I like that. That's the way I am. I just believe in the old ways. If her father is alive, or she has a male dominant force in her life, like a grandfather, you go to him and you say, sir, I would like to ask your daughter or your granddaughter hand in marriage, or your niece, whatever the case may be. I would like to ask for her hand in marriage. I just want to let you know, because, I respect you, but I really love your daughter. I really love your granddaughter or your niece, whatever the case may be. Go to them first, and then hopefully they'll give you their blessing, which I'm sure they will. And then you go and ask the woman. Be a man. Go ask them for their hand in marriage. Go tell that woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with her. Go tell her that you want to grow old with her. Go tell her that you want to have children with her. Go tell her that you want to be a part of her. Go tell her that you love her. Go tell her. Be a man. Don't be a little bitch. Don't allow your woman to come and ask you for your hand in marriage. Because if you do that, then you are a little bitch. So to answer tonight's question, is it okay for the woman to propose? Hell no. It is not okay. No matter what society says, no matter what society do, no matter what your friends are doing, no matter what they're doing in other parts of the world, no matter what they're doing on TV. It is not okay for a woman to ex their man in marriage. That's not her role. That's not the role of a woman. That's the role of a man, a real man. So if you truly love your lady, your girlfriend, your wifey, your woman, whatever you call her, ask for her hand in marriage. Stop being a bitch and ask her to spend the rest of your life, of her life, with you together. That's how it's supposed to be. Stay in your role. Don't allow her to come in your role. You're already starting off on the wrong foot. Stay in your role. Be in your role. Be a man. So is it okay for a woman to propose? I say again, hell no. All right. Well, that concludes another episode of the X and Y Show. Hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Now, be sure to take advantage of my apps that I have available. You can download the app for the Android or the iPhone on my website. On the Spreaker site that I broadcast from. And also, I'm available on a wide array of different platforms for your listening pleasure. I'm on Spreaker. That's my main platform, which I broadcast from. I'm also on Stitcher. I'm on iTunes. And I'm on TuneIn. And I'm also on Google Play. So be sure to follow and subscribe to my other platforms so you can listen to your listening pleasure. Whichever one you feel more comfortable with, please subscribe and follow me. I'm also on social media. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram as well. And I also have a X and Y store where you can buy shirts, coffee mugs, etc. There's more stuff coming. I just haven't decided what I'm going to put in there yet. But be sure to go there and get a shirt or something and show that you are a true X and Wire. And I would definitely post that picture on my Instagram account and show everybody how much you love X and Y. Now you can find everything, my social media, as well as my listening platforms. All of that is on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. It's www.thexyshow.com. And also leave any comments or something like that, or anything you want to say, recommendations, any episodes that you would like to hear. You can also contact me and let me know on my site as well, on the contact form, or you just want to say hi, or you just want to say anything to me. Always glad to hear from all of my fans. So, with that being said, that concludes another episode of the X and Y Show. And always remember, there cannot be any love without X and Y. See you next week. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.